Here's the big question.
How are agents like us,
who didn't get an opportunity to invest in a franchise early,
who are spending time and money to sell homes,
building someone else's saleable asset?
How do we grow a business but still build wealth?
Have an exit strategy,
and get a piece of the pie that's not dependent
on us working more hours and every weekend?
That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answer.
My name is Jaykinder.
My name is Al Stasek.
And I'm Michael Reese. We are your hosts, and welcome to the One Big Fire Podcast.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the One Big Fire Podcast. And we have another fantastic announcement today as Canada continues to explode with top producing agents joining and partnering with us at EXP. Vinod Bansal, how are you, sir, today?
I'm doing fine, Jay, and I'm pretty excited to be with you and Andre this evening.
I'm excited as well. It's not that often I get to speak to someone of your caliber, the business that you're doing. So it's always a pleasure to hear your story about how, you know, you've become successful in real estate, had a tremendous career to this point, and some, you know, even when things are going great, you see something that may be better, and you take a chance to make a move, and that says a lot about you. So I'd like to kind of discuss, you know, how we got to this point. What was it that led to you making this decision to move to a relatively new company in Canada? I mean, we've been there for a while, but we haven't had a big footprint, and we're just growing like crazy. But what was it that led up to this point of you making the decision to join here with Andre and myself?
Yeah, that's pretty amazing story, because I'm a person who doesn't like changes. You know, I have the same wife, same kids. So there is nothing changing. So basically, I'm a person. If I stick to something, I stick with it. Basically. So
right.
I'm in real estate now. It's almost 10 years, and with just one brand. And I got to listen many stories from many brokerages. Like, I don't want to name here, but yes. So I got invitation from each and every company so that I can join them. I can work with them. But then EXP, I was introduced to EXP 8 to 9 months back. And I was, again, one of the haters, actually, to be honest, right?
Right.
So
that's phase one.
Yes. So this is not possible. Whatever they are saying, I mean, it's so good to be true. But then I heard one very, very, powerful statement said by somebody known as Jaykinder, I believe, right? So he says that once you see it, you can't unsee it, right?
Right.
So yeah, that was one thing, and then I went deep into it. There were multiple things, though. First thing was for me that I can take my business to the next level. Second for me was the exit strategy, means passive income. So these were the two enough reasons for me to join. But there are many other reasons where I know now that people are mega teams and very big names. They are coming to this company. Yeah.
Right. No question about that. So yeah, I think it's funny, but it is what the process we go through. The first stage that I think everybody goes through is that can't be true. It can't be real. It can't be possible. Right.
That's right.
And so what, how long did it take for and how many people that had approached you, or was it just Andre that approached you? How long did it take for you finally?
So it was almost 8 to 9 months. So I've been approached by almost 8 to 10 different people. But then again, nobody was giving me the right picture, I believe, because in this, whatever, it's a good thing for me, may not be good for the other person, right? So, but when I look into it and I saw it, and then it was amazing, and I made my decision within like a week. But I researched for over 7 to 8 months. Yeah.
Right.
I actually didn't reach out to him personally, as one of my business partners that reached out to him and gave him the information, and then we had a Zoom and answered his questions and that kind of thing. But yeah. So it takes a while. So the main thing is, like, a lot of people, when I joined this beautiful company, so a lot of people, they called me that why EXP? So you're two icons in this industry, in this company. I want to hear your side of a thing that you can tell
my Facebook friends and other people who are real estate agents, but they are still sailing in the same boat, that it can be true. So
Right.
I will start with Jay. So I know, like, I studied your bio and everything, that you were number 2 agent in Coldwell Banker and sold 530 houses. That's a big number, right? So a person like you, I mean, if you have made this move, so I just want to hear from you and then from Andre that you're pretty experienced in this industry. What do you want to say on this?
Yeah, sure, man. I'm happy to share.
Yeah.
I feel like you know, the pain and agony that went through, you know, what it took to get to selling, you know, 500 plus homes a year is really just testimonial to what my vision has always been. There's got to be a better way. Like, you know, you just keep trying, you keep getting up and pushing forward until you find a better way. Right. And you know, a lot of people point to my success as being, you know, selling 500 homes a year. You know, what most people don't know is that was also the most miserable I was ever in my career, because you know, the mentors that I had at the time kept saying, you know, sell more houses. But, you know, the first of the month comes around, and even if you sell 50 homes, you got to do it again. And so it just continuously being on what I feel like is a hamster wheel. And real estate's a great industry. It's an amazing business, and you can make a tremendous amount of income, but that doesn't always translate to wealth. And there's not, you know, you have to save for, you know, taxes, and, you know, you're not a salaried employee. So you got to save for taxes, you got to save for the future. And you also have to save for investing back into your business to grow. And so, you know, I had been investing, you know, in back in my business to grow, and had a bit of success, but the problem was I didn't have any more freedom. And, you know, the weekends was what I wanted back, and my evenings is what I wanted back. And even as, you know, building a 500, you know, transaction a year team, I wasn't able to easily, anyways. Eventually I did, but it wasn't easy to get out of production and back to having a life where I felt like I wasn't on call like a doctor almost. And so, you know, that led to, you know, us getting into coaching and training and helping other agents build businesses that were more sustainable. But it was a struggle. And I think most agents and teams and independents and really everybody in real estate struggle with, you know, how to, you know, to build a sustainable business that's consistent. It's not a roller coaster of income. And, you know, you're always, you know, I always hated the wintertime in my marketplace. It dropped, you know, the sales dropped dramatically. So it's like, can I weather the storm from October till February, you know, and survive, right? Like, and so, you know, there was, you know, and you look up, you know, 10 years later and then another 10 years later, because I'm 24 years in the business, you know, it's really easy to spend your entire career and end up not having anything that's an asset. What are we building here? Is there something of value at the end of is there a pot of gold at the end of this rainbow? And I think what most of us realize when you truly look at it is, I had somebody share a story with me today that, you know, she had an agent in her office that passed away, and the family didn't benefit. The only ones who benefited was the person that owned the brokerage, because all those transactions that they had been doing were going back to the brokerage. And she's like, this is not what I signed up for. I was like, yeah, nobody does. But, you know, there's not been a business model that allows you to build wealth either through a passive income stream, or through the stock that you earn just as stock awards. And stocks go up, stocks go down. So there's always, as somebody, you know, Brian Walter made a post, why is the stock going down so much? Well, because it went up by 250,000% in the last year. Stocks go up, stocks go down. This is a long game. Hold on to the stock. That's what I would tell you. So, you know, but, you know, and I'm not a stock expert by any stretch. So don't listen to me. Advise your own counsel or whatever. But at the end of the day, you know, that is how it is. But you know, at the end of the career, I believe at the end of the career, you know, 10-year, 5-year, 10-year, 15 years down the road, that we all look back and say, man, the best thing I ever did was be the EXP, because I earned this stock that I didn't have to pay for. And that's, you know, it's a gift. It's something that you don't get somewhere else. And so, you know, I think that's extremely valuable for agents that don't always save for the future. Or if you're like me, you're super optimistic. You believe that investing back in the business is going to ultimately get you to you know, to wealth, but it doesn't often do that. It's often not the case. And so, yeah, all of those things really played to us making the move to EXP. But I'm like everybody else. It took me a year to move to EXP. The first person told me about it, I didn't listen. Second person that told me about it, I looked at it, and I had some takeaways from the conversation, and I watched a little bit of a video, but I wasn't really investigating it as if I was going to consider it.
Right.
And it wasn't until Al Stasic, who was a client of ours and a good friend of ours, said, "Hey man, poke holes in this because I think I'm about to jump off a cliff here. I'm going to jump to EXP."
Right.
I'm like, "What?" And so, I felt like I needed to help make sure that he made the right decision, which in my mind was not joining EXP. I couldn't think of, as an independent broker, why I would join a brokerage. There was no, in my mind, why would I pay anybody anything?
Right.
If I have training and I have the tools and I'm not, we weren't struggling, we were growing.
Right.
And so it's hard to look at opportunity when you're growing. When things are good, it's easy to have blinders on.
Right.
But the fact that he was moving was enough to make me look at it. So, you mentioned, 8 months of research. I mean, it's not uncommon, to watch, hundreds of videos before you join EXP. It's just, you get engrossed in it because it's nothing like anything. Everybody who thinks right now, if you're watching this and you think you know what EXP is, I promise you're missing something. And all of us were too. So it's not a bad thing. It's just an awareness. You have the awareness that, hey, do the research, like do your homework. And I think once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's what happened to me. So, and it has proved to be true. It's the best decision I've ever made for my family, best decision I've ever made for my business life. And I've never had more freedom than I have today, thanks to EXP. So it was a long time coming of trying to help agents, become more successful. That's my passion. And I'm able to do it a lot easier, a lot faster, a lot better. And with the tools that you get provided to you with EXP, we can help agents become more successful. And that's really what it's all about for us.
That's great. That's great. So, Andre, now I would like to hear some inside story about yourself as well, because I knew it, as Jay just mentioned, that I did my research for 8 months, but then I checked out each and every video which was possibly there on Google, right? So then I realized that, it is late. I have made this decision late. So I could have done it 8 months back. So I just want to listen from your side. How do you feel? And you want to share something about it?
Sure. That's been the best decision that I've ever made as well. I've been in the real estate industry for 30 years, 18 of those in New York. My partner and I were doing about 300 units a year together with a couple of small teams. Did that for a lot of years. And back in 2009, the coaching company that I was a member for offered me a position to work with them on their coaching department. And it was my chance to get out of the cold weather in New York and move south to Atlanta, Georgia. So so my partner took over my team, and he's still selling a bunch of homes up there, and moved down to Atlanta in 2009 and worked for that coaching company for about 9 years, and it was all good. But the good Lord was telling me there was time to maybe make a change and look into getting back into real estate again. So no one actually called me about EXP. I didn't really ever even heard about it, to be honest with you. But when the good Lord was telling me it was time to get back into building my own business instead of the coaching business, I started doing some research and called a friend that I didn't know he had joined EXP, but he had a pretty good business. So I called him, and he had just joined. And then I met with them. They showed the video and started looking at the world. And man, it took me not long at all to figure out this is the Amazon of real estate, right? This is where real estate's going. So I didn't have my real estate license at the time because I was planning on retiring from that coaching company. I was 49. So I had to get my real estate license in Georgia, and then went through that and got plugged into after I got my license joining, and what it took me 9 years as a real estate coach, doing pretty good, making a good 6-figure income. I've been able to recreate within under 2 years in EXP, and the big difference is passive. So before I even sell a house today, I'm already making a pretty darn good passive income just from this business model. So it's been phenomenal for me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And there are a couple of streams, as we all say, that for me, like commission is good because we do almost 50 to 60 deals a year, and average house in GTA is these days around $1 million. So doing 50 deals, it's pretty okay kind of money, But at the same time, this company provides you another options like passive income. We said that, like revenue share, basically, But people, they really, I believe, misunderstood the whole concept. and they have started saying, oh, this is some kind of MLM, multi-level marketing, or it's a pyramid scheme, something. So
Right.
what do you want to say on this? Because I got this question in last 1 month at least 60 times. I tried explaining, my
Right.
friend, this is not a pyramid scheme, this is not
Right.
multi-level marketing.
Right.
But what do you want to say on this?
Yeah, sure. So the first thing is the pyramid scheme is completely irrelevant, right? I mean, a pyramid scheme is where somebody's getting, everybody's putting money in, and the last person in, there's no money at the end of it. So it's kind of completely irrelevant. What it is it is a network marketing compensation plan. And I think when people understand how products are brought to the market, there's multiple ways. You could go through a Walmart and sell at a mass discount and have distribution all across the country. Or one of the ways that many great products have been brought to market has been through multi-level marketing companies where pills, potions, and lotions, and it's a business of word of mouth. And so essentially, they have a large compensation because they're not paying, they're not selling these, products and have all these distribution costs that they would normally have. So they compensate the person that tells another person who tells another person who tells another person, and they give them a good incentive in order to help take that product to market. And it works really well. And a lot of people make a lot of money in those types of comp plans. And what happened with EXP is when Glenn Sanford decided to be a cloud-based brokerage, which doesn't sound crazy to us today, but in 2009 when he did it, I mean, this was like literally we had 2 years we've had an iPhone, right? Like we were using BlackBerries before that. There was no apps on our phone. Like to think about going cloud-based was a really big idea back then. And so, but what happens when you look at, how companies, how every real estate brokerage has grown in the past was they were franchise models. So Century 21, Remax, Keller Williams, Coldwell Banker, all these companies, they would sell regions, and then the regions would sell, they would sell franchisees and in that territory, and then they would recruit agents. That was the old business model. The brokerage, when you think of the brokerage's client is the agent. Us as agents, our clients are buyers and sellers. And so we would pay royalties in these models. Like I was at Coldwell Banker, I paid them. I have I call them my $100,000 trophies. I've got 4 of them over here that I paid a lot of money for because I paid these royalties. It doesn't seem like a lot when you're just selling real estate, but when you start adding up 6% or 8% of every transaction, it can become a lot of money over time. Right. And as agents, we would pay these royalties up to the top, and then they would split those royalties with whoever owned that region. And the reason that they did that was because there was territories and bricks and mortar offices that would get built, and they would recruit agents to those offices, and you couldn't recruit over each other and all of that. And what's different about EXP is when you take a cloud-based model and put it in place, and you take it public and you make it a global brand, and you don't have bricks and mortar, there's no need for territories. There's no reason to sell someone a territory. There's no need for us as agents to pay royalties either. So we save that money of having to pay royalties. But it also creates a problem. And the problem is, well, that was the growth mechanism. Someone bought a $500,000 region, and then that person was helping sell $25,000 franchises all over that territory to go recruit agents. And you don't have that infrastructure at EXP because we don't have bricks and mortar. So what Glenn Sanford did, which was brilliant, was he said, we're going to make this opportunity. We're going to let the agents invite other agents to join us. Anybody can recruit. You don't have to have a $500,000 region to get revenue share off of agents that join the company now. Now everyone has that same opportunity. And who better to recruit agents to a company than the agent? We're not going to recruit agents we don't like, right? Right. We're only going to recruit the people the good agents that we like doing business with. And so,
and then who wants to work, basically, Right.
Exactly. Like there's no reason to recruit anybody unless, and so like, and this is something I think a lot of people, they misunderstand the intention. Is if you're being recruited in any other type of business model, if you're an athlete and you're getting recruited, that's a good thing. Okay. If you're in real estate, if you're getting recruited in real estate, it's also a good thing. It means somebody sees value in you and that they're wanting to have you on the team. So it's not a bad thing to be recruited in real estate. I think a lot of people have this, this feeling of it's a bad thing. It means that you're valuable and people want to do business with you and be in business with you. So look at it from a positive.
Yeah, it's basically, as you rightly said, it's a word of mouth, basically. In my last company, I believe I might have referred not less than 20 agents in my this whole time period. So basically, we are just spreading word of mouth. If you like something, you will vouch for it, right? If you
Right.
don't like something, you will not say anything about it. So I believe you rightly nailed it, that I mean, we want to join with those hands who really wants to work, basically, you know.
Right.
And another
Right.
thing which they always say is, you know, split, 80-20 split, or stock options. So some people, they say this 80-20, you know, that is too much of a, you know, split. So my company is charging me only a transaction fee of $100, $200, or let's say 5% split or 10% split. So what do you want to say on stock options provided
Sure.
by EXP?
Yeah. So two things I'll say.
Yep.
Number one is do the math and don't lie to yourself. Okay. So most agents, they don't really add up the number of transactions that they did, or they're maybe on track to do next year, and what that fee is and how much it adds up to. And they're not doing the math on the actual percentage of their total commissions that's getting taken out. And there's all these fees, and sometimes companies try to make it hard for you to even figure out what you are getting paid. And
sorry to cut you off here. So
Yeah,
I would like if you can share your you know, past, or when you used to work with Coldwell. So how much money you might have paid in those years, right?
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So if you can share with that, so that would give us a little more you know, information.
Yeah, so I'd say I don't remember the exact amount. So I did 1.7, almost 1.8 million, and in gross commissions, and I paid 6% plus the 2% ad fee for a period of time. I can't remember exactly how that worked. It was over 100. It was over 100,000.
Right.
But even still, like the math is you know, let's say you know, I've had an agent that's told me, you know, they're doing 40 transactions, but they're on 100%. I said, well, what's your transaction fee? And they'll tell me, well, it's $495. I said, well, you're paying more to be where you're at than you would be paying to be the EXP. And they're like, no, they're like, let's do the math. You know, it's just do the math. So like, be honest with the math. If you truly do the math, at 16, first of all, it's not an 80-20 split. It's a 16,000 cap.
16,000 cap. Yes.
Right. So like that's the first thing is like 16,000. If you're paying, you know, maybe you're on a 90-10 split, but your production is more than 16,000 at 10%, then you're paying more to be where you're at. So, you know, in most cases, if you're a producer or you aspire to be a producer, the math is going to work out to where you should be at EXP, because especially if you're a producer that caps and then hits icon status, which I would say roughly in your market, it's basically like 25 transactions, probably like 25 transactions or more. Then you would hit icon status, which means you're going to get that 16,000 back in stock. Well, it vests in 3 years, but guess what? Nobody else is giving you any stock. And, you know, to be honest, you know, that's just, it's better than, you know, the awards and all the stuff that I got, you know, where I was at Coldwell Banker. And I paid all that money in. I would gladly have traded that for stock.
No, but you got a lot many trophies which you might be having somewhere, right?
yeah. I tried to take them to the bank. The bank doesn't accept them. They're pretty useless. They're heavy. I mean, they're good like paperweights, but it doesn't. You know, and again, this industry has trained us to get on the transaction treadmill. You go, I don't care what company you've been at, every one of them have all these awards and different naming conventions for basically if you show up and you can fog a mirror, you get an award at most companies. And that's not serving us, right? Well, show me a company that's helping me build wealth. Show me a company that's helping me build a passive income so that I can retire someday. Like that's where EXP is winning, and that's where every other company is scared. And so a lot of the feedback you get that's and this is again, I think people have to do their own homework, because everyone is hearing things from other people. They're not doing their own homework. The team leaders of other companies aren't even doing their own homework. And I mean, I've had situations where people that I know that own multiple offices and they thought they understood Keller or the model, but they were being told something completely different. Right. And so like, you got to do your own homework. But at the end of the day, you know, the people that are saying, oh, it's a pyramid scheme, oh, it's this or that or the other, it's just evidence that they haven't done they haven't looked at the model like you have done that homework. And so that's why we created, you know, a handful of videos that really share that as quickly as you can consume it, understand the business model and understand how it works. But once you see it, you know, again,
you can.
You're going to come. They're all coming.
Yeah, and another good thing which I realized it in just like a couple of weeks, right? That everybody is helping everybody. But how is that possible? Because in my previous company or wherever, you know, we talked to each other, nobody wants to share anything. But in this, Andre, I want you to answer. Like, I call him at like every now and then he's always there helping me. How is that possible? He's sharing every single step of his success. So would you like to say anything on this?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're all in business together. We're actually partners, and we're not just friends because we work at the same company. And hey, I'll help you out a little bit because we're friends. Most people don't just give them their whole playbook. Here's my listing presentation. Here's when you get a multiple offer situation, this is what I would do. We give you all that information and we share it because we're true business partners. And it's because of the brilliant model that Glenn built for us at EXP is everybody that's in your network, you're financially incentivized by the company to help you reach your goals. So when you reach your goals and hit, sell five houses to 10 to 50, whatever your goal might be, I'm going to win because I get a little piece of those transactions, not from you, but from the company. So doesn't my business partners that are in my network. So we all work together, and we're all financially incentivized. And then on a bigger scale, because we are publicly traded and there is stock involved, that we all get ownership in the company 5 different ways. When you sell your first house and so on every year. Right. When I got plugged in 2 years ago, we had about 16,000 agents. And the stocks were $8.15. Right. Now we have over 54,000 agents. Before we had the 2-for-1 stock split there a few months back, the stock was like $159 or something like that. And of course, we got double the stock because we had the planned stock split and the prices came down. But that's as we help each other and as we continue growing, like Jay said, the stocks go up and down. But if you look at from where we were and the projection of where it's going, I'm super excited. We were in all 50 states when I came over, but only 3 provinces of Canada. Now we're in all 9 provinces of Canada, UK, and Australia. And during the pandemic, when no one could, basically get on a plane, we opened up Mexico, Portugal, France, India, and South Africa. Right. Amazing. And this year they opened up Puerto Rico, Brazil, Italy, Hong Kong, Colombia, and there's several more countries coming on. Amazing. Where do you think the stock may go as we hit 100,000 agents, which we kind of think we're going to hit that by the end of this year, and then 200,000 and more. So we all work together. Amazing. Amazing. So how does it work? Like, I belong to India. So my dad, he sold real estate for his entire life, right? So he worked closely with developers and, constructions and everything. So how does it work? So basically what you're saying is that we can sell or real estate anywhere in the world? That what it means, Jay? What do you want to say on that?
You 2 things you could do. I mean, first of all, because there's no additional cost. If you wanted to expand your team to Florida, there's no additional cost for you to do that. So the ability to expand into new markets, either globally or even locally, you can expand as much as you want. You still only pay one $16,000 cap and the one set of fees that you have, and that's it. And so you can expand your business in anywhere. Anywhere that somebody has a real estate license and practices selling real estate. If you bring them over to EXP, you're going to earn revenue share off of the business that they bring in. And the more folks that you introduce to EXP, no matter where they're at, as long as they're hitting production requirements, which is $5,000 in gross commission income every 6 months. They're a qualified agent. That means they're actually out there selling real estate. That's not a lot. That's like a quarter of a house every 6 months for you. But just that they're producing agent, because we're not. It's not just about anybody. We want agents that produce. Then you unlock certain levels at the more agents that you bring into the company, and you can earn as many as 7 generations of revenue share, that's where the network marketing comes in. It's a very aggressive compensation plan for word of mouth marketing to sell a product. What Glenn did was he just adopted, and applied it to how to grow EXP. To compensate those who help grow the company the most will have the ability to earn the most. And not everybody does, obviously. 95% or more of the folks that join EXP are just going to go sell more real estate, and they're going to be happy to have the 55 hours of training, the additional coaching and training that we provide, they're going to have everything at their fingertips in order to grow their business, along with the technology that they need to execute it. And so that's great. But there's a handful of us that have influence and that understand the opportunity side of this, and that we focus on that. And it's a real opportunity.
Yeah, no, that's great. And another thing is, like, when we have this revenue share, right? So let's say I worked for this company for, let's say, 20 years, and I have good stocks and revenue share. So will it be transferred to the next generation somehow? Like my son, if he has a license. So how does it work, basically?
Yeah. So this brings up another point I love about EXP. Like every agent that's watching this should go dig up your independent contractor agreement and read your contract you signed when you joined. Most of us didn't read it at all. Don't remember what we signed in the first place. That's what I found after being at EXP and talking to lots of agents every day for the last 3 years. Most of us don't remember what we signed. If you go back, you will most likely find language that is making it difficult for you to leave. And what I found is that companies that are making it difficult for you to leave, meaning they're going to claw back something that something in their commission, or your splits are going to drop to some of them 0 or 50% on your business that you created on your own if you decide to leave. And that's something that unfortunately is what you find in most companies. In EXP, what you'll find and in the agreement that we have is the spirit of the spirit behind the language, which all attorneys have always gotten a hold of. But when you read through it, the intention is for you to have this as a legacy to pass on. And so you have the ability to 12 months. If you were to pass away, you would have 12 months for someone else to have a real estate license to be placed in that spot, in that role, for you to continue that revenue share. You also have the ability to, and I haven't read through this language lately, but the discussion before it was rolled out was the ability to lock in your revenue share, so you don't ever have to worry about agents that attrition over time, so that you can have something locked in for life. And so that's something that they introduced. That's the intention is for this to be something that lives on forever for you. It's to create generational wealth, and for a lot of folks, that's what's happening. And within 2 or 3 years of being in the company, they're able to create the kind of wealth that takes a lifetime to accumulate.
Right. That's awesome. And then another thing is that no company, no brokerage, I believe, talks about your health benefits, right? So we have health benefits here. And Andre, can you explain a bit on that as well, please?
Yeah, they offer group health insurance in the U.S. and in Canada. They're different programs, of course, because we're different countries. But you can get a quote and find out what they have to offer for you and your family. It's all different. It's going to depend on the size of your family and such. But a lot of the people that I've seen that have looked into it are saving quite a bit of money on their health insurance. So it's been a pretty big deal. One question I want to ask you, Vinod, you mentioned, you said, with your company for the last 10 years, you brought over, what was it, 20 people that you attracted to the company, you said?
At least, yes.
Yeah. And what did you receive from the company for attracting those 20 people to your company?
I don't want to mention it. Probably, nothing. Yes, I can say it. I can say it in that way. Yes.
Yeah, and that's just it. When I came over, I brought over my first friend from California. Yeah. He sold one house. I made $408. The next month, he didn't sell anything. I didn't make anything. Yes. The next month, he sold 3 properties. Yeah. And in California, I'm here in Georgia, and I made like $1,300. Right. Right. And then a few months go by, and a few people share with a few people, and now I'm making about $1,000 a month. And then it just kind of continues and grows, just by sharing the opportunity like you would with anybody that you're happy with because of what all the benefits that you're getting in the company. And one last thing I want to mention, it's been invaluable to have people like jaykinder and Michael Reese and Al Stasek as our business partners. These guys, they own their own coaching company, the National Association of Expert Advisors. All that experience. They give access to all that to us in our network all day at no cost. I'm on the phone with Jay and Al or Michael at least a couple of times a week, helping me grow my business and never paid a thing.
And I would like to add here, if we have to have that coaching, I believe if we are not a part of this group, so maybe we have to spend a couple of thousands of dollars to get that coaching and to get that access to those materials, right?
Yep.
So yeah, so I mean, yeah, that's awesome. So I believe the main thing is that if somebody wants to come in EXP, so they can call us, they can message us, and they can talk to us, any of our business partners, and they can take anything which they want. Maybe that is their commission, maybe that is their coaching training, maybe that could be the stock options, maybe that could be revenue share, maybe that could be their health benefits. So I believe, I mean, you got to pick up and choose whatever is your point. So, I mean, you don't have just one thing, which normally all the real estate agents have is just commission. So I would say to everyone who must be watching or who must be listening that it's not a pyramid scheme. It's a big deal. You do your homework, research, dig into it, and talk to various people, and then you're going to make up your own decisions, I believe. Because I always say your success is your responsibility, not anybody else's responsibility. I took 8 months. So now I feel that I could have joined at that time, and whatever money I have paid, there's many things. I feel that I'm behind 8 months now. So,
Yeah, I have talked to a bunch of people who have joined and just asked them, hey, if you made one mistake, if there's one thing that you would do different when you moved over, what would it be? And 9 out of 10 always say, I wish I would have just did my due diligence faster and moved over quicker. Because once you actually spend the time and do it, like Jay always says, you can't unsee it.
Yeah, because we don't want to just listen it. We just don't want to open up. And I always say that, do your homework and then decide and ask us questions. And Jay is there, Andre is there, and we have a big team of our senior business partners. And one good thing I liked, everybody says you are a partner, you are a business partner. You are not, salesperson. You are not, team leader. You are not like sales executive, or you are not broker. So you're not broker of record. So I mean, everybody is a shareholder or a business partner. That's amazing.
Right.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Leave a note if anyone wants to reach out to you and ask you questions or get information from you. What's the best way that they can reach you?
Yeah, so they can call me 647-990-7300, and they can search out my name, Vinod Bansal. So they will see, I believe, hundreds of links on Google as well. But my website is vinodbansal.com. So they can go and just send me a message, and they can email me. They can Facebook message me. I mean, I'm available on all social media links as well.
Perfect.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. And I would like to thank you both for, taking out time today and sharing your views and knowledge with us. And probably if we have many people who wants to join, they can call us. And before I let you go, Jade, last question which I wanted to ask, I wanted that if you can share some of the big names, if you can, who have recently moved to EXP from various brokerages.
Yeah, so it's literally like the who's who of real estate here now at EXP, we have Chuck Fazio, who had an 850 agent single office brokerage doing over $1 billion in commissions. Moved over to EXP, moved his entire brokerage over to EXP.
You said 850
agent brokerage, and when you ask him, why. He's like, if I could build an 850 agent brokerage in one office, imagine what I could do with a cloud-based office. The opportunities is so much bigger at EXP that he moved his entire brokerage over, and all the way down to the top agents from just about every company that I know of. In fact, somebody told me the other day we have literally in the States we have the number one agent in the state in like 47 states. And so we're attracting a lot of the talent, which is good because the top talent is also the people that are doing the training every single day in the cloud. So you get to learn from the best of the best, which is always a good business model. But people like Dan Beer, Kyle Whistle, these are guys that are doing a couple $100 million in revenue. Marty Hampton, former number one Keller Williams or number one Remax agent in the world, moved over. Tina Call is another phenomenal agent. Veronica Figueroa in Orlando, Florida, who does 1,000 transactions. Jeff and Marcy Willems in Tucson, Arizona. I mean, it's literally the who's who of real estate here at EXP. And again, when you get in an environment, and what you mentioned earlier about like agents not necessarily wanting to share their best ideas across the hall from you. Well, of course not. We're still if you're still in the same market and they've got something that's working, that's a $30,000 commission to them. Why would they give that to you?
Yes.
Right. So, you're not going to get the best ideas from the agents that you're in the same office with. But when everyone owns stock and everyone's getting a little piece of every transaction, it just creates a culture of giving and a culture of abundance.
That's right.
And all of these people that are attracted are the top people and some of the top people in the industry because they are abundant thinkers. They're givers and they're happy to give and share. And so that's the environment that you get to be in. So all of these agents become your business partners and are always super responsive. It's unbelievable to me how responsive everyone is in the company, but it's definitely a different feel than anything I've ever seen.
Right. Amazing.
Absolutely. There's some big names in Canada too. The one that comes to mind in the GTA is Christopher. I don't know if I pronounced the name right. Aviata?
Invidiata. Yes.
Invidiata. Yeah, he was one of the top people in GTA in the luxury market, right? And he came over quite a while ago. Yeah. And I know there's been some other big ones since then as well. I just brought over a pretty great agent, France Montas from Quebec. She's a top agent there in Quebec for a long time, and she just came over this week, and we're pretty excited.
Even celebrities like Grant Cardone joined EXP, and
yes, I saw that. I saw that. Amazing.
Tarek El Moussa, who is from Flip or Flop, he's got his own new TV show now. He's literally a real estate celebrity, and he's at EXP. And there's been just a tremendous number of great people that have joined the company, and Canada is exploding. It's like this is like if you're in Canada right now and you're hearing this and you're not at EXP. This is the very beginning for Canada. Like it's really starting to take off now. When I joined 3.5 years ago, there was only 5,000 agents internationally. Right. So, now there's 50,000 plus. And so the opportunity over that 3-year span was only 45,000 agents. Right. From now to the next 3 years, we're talking at least 150,000 agents that are going to join just in the US and Canada, not counting the global. It's who knows how big it's going to be. But that's the opportunity is 3 times bigger today than it was the last 3 years that I've been in the company. So I'm excited to see the kind of wealth that's going to be created by those that join. In fact, one of the things that our president Dave Knort says is that the person who's going to make the most money in revenue share probably hasn't even joined the company. That's exciting.
Yeah. So I would say that. Yeah, I would say that. I mean, still, as you rightly mentioned, that is a beginning, right? So it's not too late because everybody has a feeling of FOMO. I always say that. Fear on missing out, right? So guys, it's not too late. It's just a beginning. I would definitely suggest everyone that if you have any questions, any concerns, you can reach out to me or reach out to any of our business partners, and we can make it happen and grow together. And I would like to thank you once again, Andre. I would like to thank you, Jay, once again, and hope to have these sessions many more in the time to come.
Absolutely.
Welcome to the team, Manoj.
Yeah, welcome aboard. Yeah.
Right. Thank you once again. Thanks. I appreciate that. All right. Take care of yourself.